The wind howled across the plains that morning, carrying with it the faint smell of gunpowder and dry grass. Sadie McAllister stood on the porch of her ranch house, rifle slung across her shoulder, eyes squinting towards the rising sun. She hadn't slept. She couldn't, not after seeing the boot tracks around the corral again. Someone had been watching. Her heart beat slow and heavy. Ever since the fire took her father in the barn, Sadie had lived alone on this land. Folks in town said she was too stubborn to leave, too proud to admit she needed help. But they didn't know what this place meant to her. This land was memory. It was pain. And it was the last thing she hadn't lost. A noise snapped her attention toward the barn. A faint creak. Then the low groan of rusted hinges. She moved like a ghost through the dust, silent, one hand gripping the rifle's worn stock. Inside the barn, shadows clung to every corner. Her boots crunched on old hay. Then she saw him. A man. Half collapsed near the tack wall, his hands raised slowly as she cocked the rifle and leveled it at his head. "Don't move," she said. He didn't. He barely seemed able to. His coat was torn, chest rising shallow, face covered in grime and a crusted wound across his cheek. But what stopped her wasn't the blood. It was his eyes, and calm, almost expectant, as if he'd known this moment was coming. Sadie's jaw tightened. "You've got exactly 3 seconds to tell me why you're trespassing on my land," he coughed, swallowed, then said, "Because I promised your father I'd find you." Her stomach dropped. The gun didn't. "What did you just say?" "Your father, Eli McAllister. He saved my life once, years ago. Said if I ever needed shelter, or if anything happened to him, I should come here." Sadie's grip tightened. Her father had never spoken of this man. But then again, her father had taken many secrets to the grave. She didn't lower the gun. "That's a hell of a thing to say to someone you're robbing." "I'm not here to steal," he whispered, voice cracking. "I'm here to return something that belongs to you." From his coat, he pulled something wrapped in cloth. Her breath caught. The edge of a hand-carved box peeked out. Her father's old tobacco tin, the one she'd never found in the ashes. "I'll tell you," he said, his voice trembling. "But please, I need water, and I need you to know I never meant to scare you." Sadie didn't answer. Her mind was spinning, but her training held. She stepped back, rifle still raised, eyes fixed on his. "Walk," she said, jerking her head toward the house. "But if you're lying—" "I'm not." She didn't believe him. Not yet. But her heart was beating differently now. Not out of fear. Out of something else. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Sadie led the stranger into the house, keeping her rifle within reach, even as she fetched a glass of water. He sat slumped at the table like a man who hadn't rested in days. Filthy, wounded, but quiet in a way that didn't feel threatening. She set the glass down hard enough to rattle the wood. "Start talking." He took one slow sip, then pushed the tin forward. "Your father gave this to me 5 years ago, just outside Abilene. He said if anything ever happened to him, and if you were still on the ranch, I should give it to you in person. Not through the mail, not through a deputy, in person." Sadie hesitated, then flipped open the tin. Inside was a folded note, brittle with age, and a silver coin. An 1851 Liberty head dollar, tarnished but unmistakable. Her heart twisted. That coin had belonged to her mother. She'd thought it lost in the fire. Her hands shook as she unfolded the paper. The handwriting was unmistakable. "Sadie girl, if you're reading this, then I didn't get to say goodbye. I always knew this land would ask too much of us. But you were always stronger than I let on. Stronger than me. If you're lost, don't hold it alone. Trust someone, even if it feels like it'll break you. It won't. I promise. No salutation, no signature. Just the scratchy lines of a man who never found the words easily, but had written them anyway. Sadie blinked, and when she looked up, the man was watching her. Not smug or proud, but something else. Pained. I was there the night the barn burned, he said quietly. Riding through same as always. I saw the flames, rode in, helped get your horses out. Your father was already inside. I pulled him out, but it was too late. Sadie's breath caught in her throat. You, her voice cracked. You saved the horses? I tried to save him too. You didn't stick around. No, he said. I didn't think I was welcome. Silence pressed heavy between them. Then he added, because I wasn't just a stranger. I used to go by another name. She narrowed her eyes. Which was? He looked down, then met her gaze. Carter. Her blood ran cold. Carter. That name hadn't passed her lips in a decade. Her father had spoken of him once, his younger brother's boy. The one who'd stolen from the family, disappeared into the desert, and hadn't been heard from since. You're my cousin. Half-cousin, he said. But yeah, I am. Sadie stood so fast her chair scraped back. You lied. I didn't lie. I just didn't say everything. You watched my father die. You watched the ranch fall apart. And you wait 5 years to show your face? His jaw clenched. I was ashamed, she scoffed. You should be. I didn't come here for redemption, he said, voice low. I came because he told me you'd need someone. Because I owed him. And I owe you. Tears burned at the corners of her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. This place doesn't need more broken men, she said. It needs someone who won't run when things get hard. I didn't run, he said. Not this time. Sadie stared at him and slowly, achingly, sat back down. For 3 days, Sadie barely spoke to him. She worked the ranch like she always had, hauling hay, fixing the fence line, brushing down the old mare that hadn't let anyone near her since her father died. And Carter, he didn't try to make it right with words. He just worked. Fixed the busted water pump, chopped firewood without being asked, cooked supper one night. Badly, but he tried. On the 4th morning, Sadie walked out to the front porch and found a saddle, polished like new, sitting beside her boots. Her father's saddle, the one that had been lost in the barn fire. She turned it over. Underneath, burned faintly into the leather, were her father's initials, and Carter's too. They'd made it together, years before everything fell apart. You fixed this? She asked as Carter stepped out of the barn. He nodded. Found most of the pieces in the rubble. Been patching it since I got here. She ran her fingers along the stitching. Something caught in her chest. Something soft and old and heavy with memory. I don't know if I can forgive you, she said. He gave a slow nod, eyes steady. That's your right. But I believe you tried to save him. And I believe he'd want me to try again, too. Carter didn't speak. Just nodded once, like that was more grace than he thought he'd earn. Weeks passed. Spring crept in with green shoots and heavy skies. Together they planted corn, mended the barn, and buried the ghosts that had lingered far too long. And one morning, as they cleared brush along the creek bed, Sadie caught Carter pausing, gazing out at the land with a strange look. What? She asked, shielding her eyes. He crouched down, picked something up from the dirt, a rusted tin. No letter inside this time, just a small folded deed, dated 20 years back. Her father's signature scrawled across the bottom. Transferring rights to the south pasture to Carter. Sadie stared at it. He gave you this? He must have meant to show me someday, Carter said. Or maybe he forgot. Or maybe, Sadie said slowly, he always hoped you'd come back. They stood there for a moment, the creek gurgling behind them, the wind soft in the cottonwoods. Sadie turned to him. You could sell it, she said. Get a fresh start somewhere else. Carter looked at the paper, then at her. I think I already did. She smiled then. The first real one since he arrived. Later that night, as dusk fell soft and golden over the ranch, Sadie hung the old saddle back on its hook. And beside it, for the first time in years, hung a second one. Her family was still broken in places. But maybe, just maybe, they were building something stronger. Not just from blood, but from choices.